Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new documentary, Lakota Nation vs. United States. And this is from directors Jesse Shortbull and Laura Tomaselli, as they look at the chronicling the history of Lakota Indian Nation that inhabit the Black Hills areas of northern Midwestern America and the Dakotas, where Mount Rushmore is, and how their lands, which were sacred and promised to them forever, were stolen and violated. And this journey throughout decades upon decades and over a century of trying to remedy this and to keep their land and their culture together. And this film works on multiple different levels. First off, this is gorgeous. Like, the way that this captures the beauty of everything. Kevin Phillips is the cinematographer. Whenever it takes a look at the Black Hills, at this Lakota land, it is gorgeous. And it's just pulling you in. And then there's some narration that goes over some of those parts of the film. And it just creates this beautiful feeling. And it's like you're watching it and you're just like, of course I would fight for this, especially if this was mine. And those kinds of feelings really come across in the film. There's an intimacy here where they're really connecting with Lakota people, the indigenous people who inhabited the Black Hills, and this is their place. And you feel their stories on display in this film. It takes the time to hear directly from them and their experiences and what this really means to them and why they still continue to fight. Like, this was showing protests all the way up until when Trump was still president. Like, this was really recent and still going on. And this big push by the government to give them, reparations in the end, to properly compensate them for the land after they stole it and breaking a treaty, and the Lakota people still fighting to get their land back. And, the United States is in the wrong here. They violated a treaty. And this film points out so many very obvious, what should be obvious things, that it's just like, yeah, it was promised them for life. Forever. It's their land. But the thing is the United States government going to give it back to them? Of course not. And that the film captures that tug-of-war, that complex dynamic between indigenous people and the rest of us Americans, and how tumultuous the atmosphere around these topics are. And they capture on screen. There is some vitriol being thrown around during these protests and the way that the police treat them during these protests. And this film gives a history lesson that really opens up perspectives, because it's pointing at things that are pretty clearly happened, and these very specific perspectives, but it's like not what we learn in school. And this reframing of this whole entire dynamic really puts a spotlight onto some really uncomfortable things that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge about American history. And it happens. And this film really captures not only the history of what happened, but also that tenuous grasp that many people have on what they want to believe is true. And this film is so poignant and beautiful and impactful, and honestly, this kind of film should be shown in school. When you're learning about history and learning about those aspects of our country, this is an eye-opening experience and certainly should be watched. It's on AMC+. Most people do not have that streaming service, but hopefully you'll at least at some point get a chance to check out this film. But those are my thoughts on Lakota Nation versus United States. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.